It's time. The moment that we've all been waiting for is finally here. And what is that? Well, that is none other than the World Cup qualifiers. Hello, everyone. I'm Simon Preston, and welcome to Reggae Boys Commentary. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video on this channel. Really appreciate it. Yes, this is the moment you all have been waiting for. This is the moment we all have been waiting for. The qualifiers. This is the moment every 4 years, every 5 years that we anticipate. These qualifiers should have been held last year, but as we know, COVID shifted those plans slightly. Can you believe it? The last time we had a World Cup qualifier was 2016. 2016, where we lost 2-0 to Haiti at the National Stadium. Bitter memories. Bitter memories. Not something I want to reflect on at all. So, match day one, the Reggae Boys take on Mexico at the Azteca Stadium. Reggae Boys fans, what are your memories of Mexico? What are your memories of Mexico? What are some of the moments that stand out to you? Well, since you could say post-independence, Jamaica has won 5 times, drawn 3, and lost 18 times to Mexico. So, from that sheer raw data, you get the perspective that Mexico has held the upper hand. And they have. But what has happened in recent times? Well, the last time we played Mexico, we defeated them 1-0, and that was in the semi-finals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. As you all know, Kemar Taxi Lawrence with a fantastic free kick. 87th to 88th minute. He took some time to take that free kick, didn't he? And as you know, that ball sailed into the back of the net. We also played them in the group stages as well, and if you remember that game, Kevin Lambert had a brilliant game in the group stages. We go back to October 11, 2008. Ricardo Waldebufula with that left foot. Yes, there was a slight deflection, but guess what? The ball sailed into the back of the net and sailed past Osvaldo Sanchez. I was on the cycle track that day, and trust me, there's 2 matches at the National Stadium, which brought me sheer delight, sheer passion. Jamaica versus Mexico 2008, Jamaica versus the United States 2012. Like I've said, guys, I have been to every home game since 2003. I have not missed a home game since then. And it looks like my unbeaten streak, I might be one of the only persons that will have that unbeaten streak continue because, as you know, there are no fans allowed at the Panama game coming up on Sunday. So unless there's a media person that has been to every home game before 2003, my unbeaten streak will continue. But as far as fans are concerned, much respect to you that have been Jamaican football fans from the 80s and 70s and 60s. But I get to get my unbeaten streak going. But fans, unfortunately, they can't. But in my sort of capacity, I get the privilege to watch the Reggae Boys on Sunday. That is if I test negative, of course, all being well. So going into the game against Mexico, what do we know about them? I find it quite strange that Mexico continues with an overseas coach because they've thrived on the Mexican-born coaches. They've done well on the Mexican-born coaches. Yes, there have been certain question marks over the tactics that they have used, but apart from Sven-Göran Eriksson, they've had success with overseas coaches. So I guess that is something that I might say, all right. And Gerardo Martino is a man with a good resume under his belt. The Argentine 58-year-old. Well, there's a lot to say about him. Not Panama, but he took Paraguay to the quarterfinals of the 2010 World Cup. He also took them to the Copa America final in 2011. He also coached Argentina, and Argentina, as we know, went to the final of the Copa America in 2015. And Argentina also went to the final of the Copa America in 2016 as well. So he's had a number of runners-up finishes. With Mexico, he was, of course, the coach when they won the Gold Cup in 2019. So that's something that he has going for him. And of course, Mexico will runners up for the 2021 edition of the tournament. This is different compared to Juan Carlos Osorio, who was their head coach for the World Cup in 2018, the Colombian, and also was the coach that Theodore Tapa Whitmore defeated. So that's something on Mexico's side of things. But it is different from the era of the likes of Miguel Herrera, who was quite a vocal character, Jose Manuel de la Torre, Javier Aguirre, Jose Ramirez, Hugo Sanchez, Ricardo Lavolpe. Quite a different era of coaches. But in Mexico, Hugo Sanchez has this is like their hero in a sense, and his stint was short. But let's go into the Mexican team first, and then we'll head into the predicted lineup. What has Mexico looked like in 2021? Well, Mexico has lost 3 games in 2021, won 9, and drawn 2. They lost to Wales in a friendly match, lost to the United States in the Nations League final, and they lost to the United States also in the Gold Cup final. Their losses to the United States came in in extra time, and their loss to Wales, which was back in March in Cardiff, was an early goal in the 11th minute from Kiefer Moore. So apart from that, they've kept clean sheets along the way. 1-0 over Costa Rica, a 0-all against Honduras, a 3-0 over Panama, 4-0 over Nigeria, 0-all against Mexico, 3-0 over Guatemala, 1-0 over El Salvador, 3-0 over Honduras. They've kept good clean sheets along the way, so they've been quite sturdy at the back. But how did they set up for that Gold Cup final? How did they look? What did it look like in a sense? I know how a team might set out is not exactly how they pan out on the pitch, but in terms of how they looked and how they looked in terms of the setup for the final against the United States, well, in a sense, Mexico is going to play a 4-3-3 against Jamaica. Okay? They're going to go 4-3-3, and guess what? They went 4-3-3 at the Gold Cup, and 4-3-3 is exactly what we can expect from the Mexicans. Yeah. So they had there will be some changes, and I'll get to that quite shortly. They had Talavera in net, Ajoro, Moreno, Rodriguez, Gallardo, Alvarez, Dos Santos, Herrera, Pineda, Funes Mori, and Corona. 4-3-3. Alvarez, the holding midfielder, Dos Santos and Herrera, the legs and sort of will apply the creativity to give towards the front three. Corona, a player that we'll get onto quite shortly, but will provide that finesse and that guile. Pineda, a similar light with a bit more vivacious energy towards him. And Funes Mori is apparently the next heir to Carlos Vela and Chicharito. But only time will tell. Only time will tell from this perspective. So now that we've looked at what Mexico appeared like at the Gold Cup, how will things look like from a Jamaican perspective? What is my predicted 11? I've often said a 4-3-3 is what we should do. But before we look at Jamaica's 11, how did Jamaica look the last time we set up at the Azteca and got that 0-all draw on February 6, 2013? How did we look that day? Well, I'm going to show you on the screen right now how we looked that day. And you all can really break down and see your thoughts about it in a sense. How did we look? How did we set up? How did we play? Well, this is how we set up against Mexico the last time we took them on in a World Cup qualifier at Azteca. We went with a 4-4-1-1. If you want to call it 4-2-3-1, you can, but I consider it a 4-4-1-1 based on how we looked. I call it 4-4-1-1. You guys can say 4-2-3-1. So we had Donovan Ricketts in net, Adrian Mariappa, Nairo Nosworth at centre halves. As we know, Mariappa and Nosworth built a solid tandem at Watford before Mariappa moved on to Reading. Demar Phillips, left back, Jermaine Taylor, right back, Rudolph Austin and Marvin Elliott as the holding midfielders, Joby McAnuff on the left, Gareth McClary on the right, Jermaine Teddy Johnson right behind Ryan Johnson. As we know, Demar Phillips, at times, it looked like Jamaica was going like a 3-5-2. He would always, and you'd remember that against Guatemala and against, especially Antigua and Barbuda at home in the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. Phillips would always be that guy that made those diagonal runs or passes. So at times it looked like this. But against Mexico, he's a bit more disciplined on that left-hand side. Jermaine Taylor wasn't adventurous going forward. He sat quite deeply, and at times he tucked in with Nosworthy. So the Mexicans didn't have a lot of space centrally to work with, so they had to operate on the wider areas if they wanted to create goal-scoring opportunities. and they targeted the right hand side of Taylor to that effect. Rudolph Austin and Marvin Elliott, they were like a trailer. Not much could pass them. I think they were disciplined in this game, and they should be given credit for the work that they did. And this game should always be remembered in Jamaican footballing history. We know what Joby McAnuff did, the passion, the drive, he could have scored and everything like that, hit the post, the bar. Should have put the follow-up shot past Corona, but it is what it is. Gareth McCleary whipping in the ball. Jermaine Teddy Johnson, busy, active, full of life, up and down and 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 up and down. Of course, Ryan Johnson that had clear one-on-one opportunity to score, but didn't. So that's how we operated the last time that we took on Mexico in a World Cup qualifier. That's how we operated. How do I think we should go? I haven't gone with a 4-4-1-1, but I have gone with a back four. And you're going to see right now how I think we should go against Mexico. And I've gone with a 4-3-3. I'll start with Jamaica and then I'll go over to the Mexicans. Andre Blake, I've gone in net. Centre halves, Adrian Mariappa, Damian Lowe. Left back, Kemar Taxi Lawrence. Right back, Alvas Powell. Holding midfielders, I've gone with Devon Speedy Williams and Anthony Grant. Tyreek McGee just in front of the holding midfielders, and a front three of Blair Turgott, Shamar Nicholson, and Corey Burke. That's what I've gone with for our opener against Mexico. And you guys know, in terms of starting 11s and stuff, I rarely get less than 7 out of 10 in terms of players correctly, in terms of those who start in. So, you know, you have the credibility there where that is concerned. But yeah, this is what I've gone with. You know, no Liam Moore available to us. Ravel Morrison. And the other English players, we know with Mariappa, he's not a club, so it's okay for him. Anthony Grant, it's fine for him. Blair Turgott plays in Sweden, so he doesn't have to face those sort of quarantine challenges. So, yeah, this is how I've set up for our first game against the Mexicans. Turgott is going to have a lot of work job to do. What my hope is that he'll be able to cut in on that right foot and be able to fire, because he is going to get the space to work with. Mexico Azteca is a wide pitch, so he's going to get the time. He's going to have the ball. Can he be able to cut in a bit centrally and then shoot from long range, because he has it in him, and I'm certainly hoping that he does so. Where are the two balls on the field? Football is played with one football. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping will happen. Shamar Nicholson is going to be needed to bully Dominguez and Araujo. Windows aerial battles. Corey Burke is going to have to assist where this is concerned as well. And I expect him to do so. I don't expect him to stay out wide for the majority of the game. I expect him to drift centrally. And in a sense, we would look like this. Still, so a 4-4-2 in a sense. So that is what I'm expecting. Tyreek McGee will apply that creativity. Big game for him, the biggest game of his life. But a game that I personally feel that he's prepared for. The Destroyer and Anthony Grant will clean up everything in this region. Speedy will keep the ball ticking, collect from the central defense, and move forward. Collect, pass, collect, pass, collect, pass, collect, pass. Grant will do the dirty work. We don't worry about that. Yo, Grant is huge, you know. Huge. Not taller than me, but he's huge. But yeah, on the Mexican side of things, expect Guillermo Ochoa to come back in the game. Rodriguez will hold his position at right back. Gallardo, left back. Dominguez is going to come in at central defense. Araujo keeps his position. I'm still a bit undecided about if it's going to be Edson Alvarez or Andres Guardado in that deep holding midfield position. Alvarez was the man at the Gold Cup. Guardado, as you know, was not at the Gold Cup. My gut is leaning towards Alvarez because he has the legs and because that consistency. Guardado, 34, experience. He has scored against Jamaica, though, in that 3-0 victory 2008, and of course the Gold Cup final 2015. I still If I had to make a prediction, I think they would lean toward Alvarez because of the work that he did at the Gold Cup. Pizarro and Dos Santos will support in midfield. I'm going to go with Vega, Corona, Funes Mori. The man to watch for the Mexicans, Rogelio Funes Mori. Yep, he's the brother of the centre half that used to be at Everton. Yep, that's right. So, and I know you guys might be saying, but wait, Simon, isn't he from Argentina? Yes, Rogelio Funes Mori was born in Argentina, just like the head coach. Yeah. So Rogelio Funes Mori is the identical twin brother of Ramiro Funes Mori, who, as you all know, plays for Al Nassr and used to be at Everton. So he's now in Saudi Arabia, but he's the identical twin brother. So Rogelio Funes Mori plays for Mexico, unlike his brother Ramiro, who is an Argentine central defender. So yeah. So Rogelio Funes Mori is the man to watch for Mexico. 4 goals in 7 appearances. There's some reports that Raul Jimenez will be a doubt for the Mexicans because of we know the quarantine situation with English Premier League players. So I expect Funes Mori to lean the line. And trust me, he is an absolute menace. If there's a guy you want to keep quiet, it's 3 of them. Funes Mori, stay away from Corona, physically and mentally, and Edson Alvarez. If you make these guys unsettled, we'll win the game. If you press at Edson Alvarez, you force him to go long, and we regain possession. Funes Mori, if you close him down, he's not going to look for a forward pass. He's going to look behind him. And Corona, we all know how to avoid Corona physically. What about Corona on the Mexican team? You get up in his face. You be aggressive. That is how you get the better of him. So, Reggae Boys fans, how are you feeling going into this game? How are you genuinely feeling? Is it excitement? Is it optimism? My prediction, Mexico 1. Jamaica 1. Reggae Boys fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What's your prediction? Well, we need the win. We need points, I should say. 4 points from our first 3 games, and the campaign is off to a smooth start. Don't forget to subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary, guys. Put your prediction in the comments below.